The rain didn't just fall that night. It felt like the sky was finally weeping for me. My name is Alara. I'd just turned 18 in a house where the walls were thick with my silence and my sister's screams. 18 is supposed to be the year you finally bloom, the milestone where you step into the light. Yet, as I sat in the corner of the dimly lit bookstore cafe where I work, I felt like a ghost haunting my own life. A week ago, I had circled the date on my calendar with a trembling hope. Mom had promised a dinner, just one night where I wasn't the reliable one or the invisible one, but the celebrated one. But then came Marin. My younger sister doesn't just have tantrums, she has eclipses. She blots out the sun until everyone is shivering in her shadow. Because Mom refused to buy her a designer coat she didn't need, Marin shattered a vase and locked herself in her room, howling. "We can't trigger her with a celebration right now," Mom whispered, her eyes red from Marin's chaos, never once looking at me. "You understand, don't you? You're so strong." That word, strong, felt like a death sentence. It was the excuse they used to starve me of affection so they could overfeed her ego. The pain of being overlooked on my own day was a cold, heavy weight. I had spent years resenting the constant comparisons, the way every family plan revolved around Marin's fragile whims. As I shelved books and served tea, I felt the gravity of my own insignificance pulling me under. I was a mere shadow behind the counter, invisible to the world and my own blood. I knew something had to change, but the path was dark. With every birthday candle I didn't get to blow out, it felt like my identity was being erased. Suddenly, a spark ignited. Maybe I could finally break free from the cycle of being the forgotten daughter, the girl who lived in the margins of someone else's drama. I began to plot my escape, imagining a life where my name was spoken with love, not as an afterthought. I'll tell you what happened after that pivotal moment. But first, if you're feeling the weight of this journey with me, make sure you stay tuned for more chapters of my life. The next morning, I woke up with a heart like lead. It was my birthday, yet the house was a tomb. I stared at the ceiling, feeling like a stranger in my own skin. Mom had planned a huge dinner, but ever since Marin's outburst, the air had turned to ice. When I walked into the kitchen, the tension was suffocating. Marin was sulking at the table, tossing her hair with a practiced air of misery. Mom was hovering, buttering toast like she was walking on landmines. "I'm so sorry, sweetheart," I heard Mom murmur to her, "but I can't risk upsetting her further." That sentence cut deeper than any blade. I watched Mom prepare a meal with a nervous smile, her eyes darting to Marin, who looked ready to explode. "Mom, what about my cake?" I finally managed to ask, my voice small and trembling. The room went silent. Marin's fork clattered against the plate. She frowned, folding her arms. "Can we not talk about that right now?" "Marin needs tending to," Mom replied, completely dismissing the one thing I had left to hold on to. I felt my frustration boil into a quiet, cold rage, but I held my tongue. I had always been the one to keep the peace, the one who avoided the scene. Apparently, being the good child only meant being the one who didn't exist. I forced a smile and finished my breakfast, swallowing the bile of rejection. That afternoon, I walked to the cafe to clear my head, pouring my soul into every cup of coffee I made. I tried to drown out the sting of the morning, but the truth kept gnawing at me. I was utterly insignificant to them. As I worked, I overheard customers laughing about their own 18th birthdays, the parties, the speeches, the feeling of being seen. It was agonizing to hear, but it crystallized a realization. If I wanted to be the protagonist of my own life, I had to walk off their stage. Maybe it was the way my grandfather pulled out a chair for me later that day, looking at me with eyes that actually saw me. Maybe it was just exhaustion. I told my grandparents everything: the canceled day, the years of being the emotional janitor, and the bag I had already packed. "We always knew there was favoritism," Grandpa admitted, his jaw tight. Grandma squeezed my hand. "You kept things running so smoothly that they forgot you were human, Ilara. Maybe it's time they find out what happens when the pillar is gone." Their words were the permission I needed. I wasn't just running, I was conducting an experiment. What happens to a house when the one who holds it up finally lets go? That week, my phone was a graveyard of messages. At first, they were casual. "Where are you?" from Mom. "Did you take my charger?" from Marin. I didn't answer. I worked, I sang, and I started sharing my music online, raw, haunting songs about being the shadow child. The comments poured in. "I felt this in my soul. You aren't alone." For the first time, my voice wasn't hitting a wall, it was finding a home. Then the tone of the texts shifted. "Alara, this isn't funny. Come home." 10 missed calls from Mom. A long, acidic message from Marin. "Are you seriously acting out because of a party? You're so dramatic." I laughed, a short, bitter sound. The girl who burned down the house for a coat was calling me dramatic? I saved the message as a reminder of the delusion I had left behind. One night, sitting with my grandparents, Grandpa said, "Sometimes the kindest thing you can do for people who take you for granted is to let them feel life without you. Not to destroy them, but to wake them up." I realized then that my departure was a lesson they had spent a decade avoiding. The cracks started showing quickly. News travels fast in a small town. Our neighbor told me Mom was losing it. Marin was skipping school and having screaming matches with the walls because there was no one left to absorb her venom. Dad had even left for a few days to find some peace. My stomach dropped, not from guilt, but from confirmation. I was the glue. Remove the glue, and the whole structure slides into the mud. Part of me wanted to run back and fix it, to put the chaos back in its neat little boxes, but the part of me that remembered my canceled birthday said no. Let them sit in the mess they made. Then came the text from Mom. "Alara, this has gone too far. Marin is spiraling, and your father and I are arguing nonstop. We need you home." Not "we miss you," not "we're sorry," just "we need you," like I was a tool they had misplaced. I replied, "I'm safe. I'm not coming back to fix things. I left because I wasn't treated like a person." The replies were a storm of guilt trips and accusations. "You're abandoning us. Your sister is fragile." But then, a quiet message from Dad. "Alara, I'm sorry. I didn't see it. I should have." I stared at that for hours. Was it real or just fear of the chaos? My music continued to grow, fueled by the honesty of my pain. People called it the most powerful revenge, building a life that proved my family wrong. The breaking point came on a rainy evening. Grandpa told me my parents had come by, desperate. They wanted a meeting. They wanted normal back. I agreed, but only on my terms, at my grandparents' house, with evidence in hand. I prepared like I was going to war. I printed the messages. I brought an audio recording I'd once made of Marin bragging that she could make Mom cancel anything if she just cried long enough. I wasn't coming to soothe them. I was coming to deliver the truth. When I walked into the living room, Mom looked haggard and Marin looked defiant. "You ran away over a party," Marin sneered. I played the recording. Her face went white as her own voice filled the room, exposing her manipulation. Mom looked horrified. "Is that true?" she whispered. Marin sputtered. "Everyone does it. But for once, no one rescued her. I told them plainly, I didn't leave to punish you. I left because staying was killing me. You built a system where one person's comfort cost another person's existence. The silence that followed was heavy and undeniable. Dad asked what I wanted. I told them, stop asking me to be your emotional janitor, parent both your daughters, and stop pretending this was a misunderstanding. Mom sobbed, asking if I'd ever come back. I told her I didn't know. I had found a life where I wasn't invisible, and I wasn't giving that up for a role that broke me. I walked out into the clean night air, feeling the weight finally shift from my shoulders to theirs. If you were me, would you ever go back?